Republican Congressman James Comer of Kentucky, ranking member on the House Oversight Committee. Sir, good morning to you. Thanks for being here. Happy New Year to you. Wow, who knew we would be here New Year's Eve 2020? What do you want to see next for your party when it comes to this standoff over stimulus?
Well, I strongly support the president. One of the problems that the Senate has right now is that the president has instilled upon the Republican base that this is direct stimulus to them. Even though I think the CARES Act did a great deal to save our economy with respect to small businesses and keeping workers on the payrolls and a lot of struggling businesses, there were a lot of Americans that didn't feel the effects of the stimulus. And the president, with his plan for $2,000 to every individual that qualifies from an income standpoint, is something that's very popular with Republicans, and obviously it's popular with the Democrats. If you go back to the stimulus vote last week, one of the problems they had is the leaders in the House and the Senate combined a lot of different bills onto one vote. And in the minds of the base, I think that's what's happening right now in the Senate. So I wish the Senate would start having standalone votes on different bills. I think that would be better received by the American people. And I think that would help the Senate get their message out that they're trying to do the right thing and trying to have offsets, but at the same time trying to help the American people.
And obviously with the balance of power in the Senate hanging in the balance, I should say, down in Georgia, all of this, it comes down to this, doesn't it, Congressman? Lindsey Graham weighed in just a few moments ago on Fox News Watch.
And if we lose Georgia, this bill is going to seem really cheap, because if we lose the Senate and they have control of the House, the Senate, and the White House, they're going to send over a monster of a bill and will make this bill look cheap.
What about that?
Lindsey Graham's exactly right. What we've seen from Democrats in the past is, there's no fear of running the debt up to the moon. And I think that what will happen if we lose those Senate races in Georgia is they will come back with a bill that not only will have the $2,000, which is what I think a majority of Americans want, they're also going to put elimination of student loan debt. They're probably going to have more pork than has ever been put on a bill in the history of America on a bill. So I think that the best thing for the taxpayers right now is to try to get this stimulus passed and then set the example. Let's start having regular order in Congress. Let's have one vote per one bill and not try to jungle a bunch of different bills onto one vote. And that was confusing the American people. The stimulus bill didn't have a lot of the stuff in it that I see a lot of my friends post on Facebook. But you combine so many different bills onto one vote, right? It confused the Americans. And if you're confusing intelligent people about what Congress is doing, then you're not doing your job in leadership. So I hope that we can get back to regular order. And I don't really agree with what's going on in the Senate.
I'll ask you why it's come to this and why it's come to now, obviously, and why it's taken so long in just a moment. But here's Josh Hawley, another one of your Republican colleagues, arguing that if there's enough money for Wall Street bailouts, certainly there's enough money for everyday Americans who are struggling. Watch.
For all the people who say we don't have the money, I noticed that we seem to have plenty of money when it came to bailing out Wall Street. That didn't seem to be a problem. I noticed that we seem to have plenty of money when it came to shipping money overseas. That didn't seem to be a problem. But now when working people need help, it's, oh, heavens, we can't possibly do that. I suggest that the priorities are wrong.
So put that up against the Wall Street Journal editorial board, who did the back of McConnell this morning, writing this: $2,000 checks for the affluent. Schumer and Trump want to write checks to the non-needy. So, Congressman, I would ask you, how do you address those more fiscally conservative colleagues of yours who are saying that this money will end up in the pockets of many who don't actually need that, who did work through the pandemic, who are not struggling? This is a lot of money, Congressman.
Every government program I've ever been aware of has ended up in the pockets of people that didn't really need it. It's hard to have a one-size-fits-all approach in government, and that's been a problem in the past. And a lot of people see, despite the huge success of the PPP loan program, we're always reading about a very wealthy person that got millions of dollars that they may not have to pay back. And that's angered the Republican base. And I think a lot of Republican senators don't understand what Josh Hawley obviously does understand, and at least 44 Republicans in the House, like myself, understand, is that our Republican base is becoming more populist. The trickle-down policies of the past aren't in style with the base now. The base wants to see stimulus that affects them. And, a lot of Republicans can successfully make an argument that the CARES Act did benefit an overwhelming majority of Americans, but there are a lot of people on fixed income. There are a lot of people, senior citizens that draw Social Security. They didn't feel the effects of the last stimulus. The president has instilled in their minds that they can feel the effect of this $2,000 direct payment. Obviously, the Democrats think that. So this is something I think the Republican leadership in the Senate and in the House, for that matter, needs to really rethink and try to come up with a plan and have a standalone vote on that. If they want to combine something else with the stimulus bill, they should combine offsets and start with foreign aid. If they cut foreign aid and gave the money that they were going to give to other countries to the American people, I think that would be a huge win. That would help out in Georgia. And that's something that I think the American people want, especially the Republican base.
Congressman, I appreciate your time this morning. Happy New Year to you.